Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Excellence and Impact Foundation podcast, where we engage positive change makers in the areas of healthcare, education, entrepreneurship, and leadership. This episode is brought to you by our good friends at CDC, Competence Development Labs, with offices in Mumbai, India, and San Francisco, to provide you a comprehensive suite of first-in-class business and tech services. So today, we have the honor of hosting a remarkable guest whose humanitarian work is making significant impact in communities across Nigeria and Africa. Ms. Franka Adetunji is a dedicated advocate for eradicating children's hunger through her End African Children Hunger Foundation, which is located here in Arizona. So I'd like our viewers around the world to join us as we dive into an inspiring journey with a lot of lessons learned, success stories, and the path to a really noble cause.
Oh man.
How are you feeling today?
Oh my God, I feel so good. It's such a pleasure to join you today in this amazing, remarkable organization that you have here. And I feel honored, to tell you the truth, to
Me too.
really feel honored. And I'm excited to share my story. I'm excited to tell your audience what creating excellence and impact means and how they can also do the same. Because if
Good.
a little girl like me can do it, anyone can do it.
I love
So
that.
I am excited.
Love
And
it.
I heard you mention IT. That's my lane because I'm a data engineer in
Good.
my career and also have my degree in data analytical. So I'm like, I'm hearing something that fits my lane, and I was just
Well,
like, let me mention it.
obviously, a lady as driven as you does not only do one thing in her life. You probably have to dip your hands in so many things to be able to create the impact that you have. So I'm not surprised at
Yeah.
all. So can you share your journey into the humanitarian work you do? What inspired you to take this path? And what is it that solidified your commitment to take on such a deeply needed intervention
Mm-hmm.
in the African community to end African children hunger?
Wow, where do I start from? From the beginning, yes. The beginning is always the best place to start from. So I grew up in Nigeria before moving to this country in 1998
Okay.
after finishing my high school. I lived in a home where there were lots of the African culture. You have relatives, brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles come into one house and live. And so I live in a home where there was like 10 people living in a house, putting a mat on the floor, sleeping on the floor. With African culture, there is some myths about if you're not a biological child of
Mhm.
the people you're living with or your aunties and uncles you're living with, there's always that barrier and there's always a difference in how you're being treated. Living in that situation, there were times where I'm being punished by not giving
Mm.
food to eat. There are times that I had to sneak to a neighbor house and get food, and I had to sneak to eat that food in order for me to be able to survive and run back home as a child. So as a child going through such situation and going through the punishments and just as a child and being treated like starvation is part of punishment. At that time, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand this is abuse. I didn't understand. So I went through that. And as I was going through that as a child, believe me, Alpha, I told myself that if I ever become blessed, just a little bit of financial stability, my goal is to make sure that no child goes through what I went through. My goal is to make sure that no child goes to bed hungry because I know how it felt. I know how I felt at that time as a child. Even speaking about it, I can just picture myself in that place. And so I just told myself as I grew up, I will make sure that no child goes to bed hungry. I will make sure that if I have a little, I will share that little. Even if it's just one or two child that I'm able to touch, I will do that. And so that's what started my journey. That's what solidified my commitment.
Commitment.
And then as I was growing up and I came to this country, they call this place the land of opportunity. And I came in, went to school, did my education, got a job. I started working at McDonald's.
A candidate worked at McDonald's.
Yes, thank you. So I started at McDonald's and then went to school, finishing school, and then got a job. My first job wasn't that great, but I was thankful because at that time I was making what, like $20 an hour? No, I actually started at that job with $10 an hour and then worked my way to $20 an hour. And then I was a clinical assistant. And I told myself, is this where you want to be, Franka? If you want to feed children, if you want to eradicate hunger, if you want to end children hunger, this is not where you want to be. This is not the bar. You need
Okay.
more. So I put myself through school again, went to
Wow.
a computer school and got myself the degree that I needed so I can make enough money to do that. With $20 an hour, my family and I started this foundation over 8 years ago. And that's why I said that there is nothing that is so little. Everyone, like if you're listening, nothing is too little. You can
I like
start
that.
small. You can
I
start
like that.
small
I
because
like
we
that.
started small. We started funding this with the little that we're making from paycheck to paycheck. We started funding this ourselves.
Okay.
That was
So
back.
that's amazing. I think our viewers need to understand child abuse is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that culturally speaking in Africa, back in those days when we were younger, it was children who come from marginalized backgrounds, children whose parents are not able to financially support them, always will end up in situations where they are abused culturally, and sometimes it's child labor.
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, it
Absolutely.
was maybe child labor and child abuse.
It is.
We
Absolutely.
want to denounce those things. Our society has come a long way, and it's time for us to stand up and say, you cannot treat children like that. And I'm
No.
so happy that you never forgot the pain that you went through,
Mm-mm.
and
Mm-mm.
you decided to channel that, make a commitment to yourself to do the little you can and
Yes.
empower other children by making sure they have a meal that they can nourish themselves and grow to be healthy human beings. That is a very commendable, noble cause you're doing there. And I
Mm.
also want to pick up on what you said that you start with what you have, which
Yes.
means you do not wait
No.
to have a lot of money because
Mm-hmm.
the more money you have, the more problems you have. So the more money you make, the more commitments you have, and you want
Mm-hmm.
to get this bigger things, nicer things. And there's this paradigm of ability and willingness. Some people have the willingness and not the ability. Some
Ability.
people
Yeah.
have the ability and not the willingness. But I think that the willingness is the most important part. If you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to start something,
Mm-hmm.
and all you need to have is the willpower not to give up. So
That's it.
you decided that at whatever amount of money you were making, you were going to start this initiative.
Yes.
And when you start, that's all you need, never to quit. Just keep going.
Just keep
And
going.
along the way, somehow God will put the people along your path and they
Mm-hmm.
will provide the resources for you to have the impact. So that's really good. I
Yeah.
like that. And I also like the fact that you decided to improve yourself personally and
Mm-hmm.
professionally
Mm-hmm.
uh, by getting more education because education
Yes.
obviously is the key. And that is good. Can you tell us a particular project along your path that has really made an impact for you? I know that putting food on the table for a child who
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
have it, that's a huge enough impact because there are millions of children who go hungry in this country.
It
So
happens
people may not
absolutely.
know there are a lot of children in America who go hungry. And
Mm-hmm.
so we can dive into that another time, another day, but we are focused on your efforts to end African children's hunger, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yes, good transition to tell you about a project that means so much to me. Like you said, education is important, right? Because you can feed children from now till tomorrow. But if they are not educated to help break the barrier of hunger in their family, my goodness, that's just you just feeding
Wills.
them, just feeding away. Thank you. So, a project that means so much to me. So, as we started feeding kids, we thought to ourselves, how can we go beyond feeding kids? How can we go beyond just feeding these children or helping their parents, but without these children getting education? So guess what we did? We ventured into the educational sponsorship. How did we do that? So we had a school. I had children that in the school. We checked the metrics, check the data. So before you venture into anything, please do your research. Don't just allow somebody to come to you and say, hey, I need help. No, you have to do your research. You have to check your metrics, check the data, check to see the pinpoints that they have in that area before you venture into putting some resources to help them. So we had a school that the children are dwindling. The number of kids going to school is dwindling. Why? The parents don't have the funds to sponsor the children to school. Yes, we are feeding these children, but how about we start sponsoring them? How about we start sponsoring them so that they can help break the cycle of poverty in their family? They can help stop hunger in their family first. And then as they see that they are being helped, believe me, these children, they'll have it in mind to now help one other family, help another family as they grow up to become the leaders of tomorrow. So the project that we started was sponsoring children. So what we do is we started raising funds. As we're raising funds, doing our gala event, as we're raising funds to feed the children, we started raising funds to sponsor kids. So we came up with this idea. All of the attendees at the gala, please, who can sponsor a kid? We did our research. We figured out how much it is to sponsor a child through the year, and it was just $300. So we told the audience, $300. You can go to McDonald's and spend that in 2 weeks. Put that $300 where it will create an impact in the life of a child.
Wow.
And because that school needed the help, it needed the help. It needed kids to come back to school. So we started sponsoring children. So every year we have a number of children we sponsor to go to school through the help of our donors and partners. We help sponsor children to go to school. And our goal is to sponsor them through their high school. And if God's willing and bless us with more financial resources, we'll sponsor them through their higher education. So that's one of the projects. And then another project that really touched my heart was there's a school in Ijesha.
Where's
This
Ijesha?
school,
Can you localize that for us?
yes, Ijesha State in Nigeria.
Ogun State. Okay.
Ogun State in Nigeria.
Nigeria, central Nigeria, is it close to Lagos? Give our viewers a sense of where Ogusha is so people can really, maybe they can Google Ogusha after you talk on this podcast.
So Ijesha is in Ogun State and is in the western part of Nigeria. Another organization approached us and said, hey, we would like to partner with you because we see the work that you're doing. We'd like to partner with you because our school needs help. This school, the roofs are falling down. The school is not in a good state at all. Kids cannot go to that school and learn. I will not have my child go to that school and learn.
So this is a parent contacting you?
Yeah, no, another organization contacted me. They have a
local organization here or in Nigeria?
But the local organization in Nigeria, they contacted me and they wanted us to help. They sent us pictures, and then we took the initiative. We hired an engineer, went to the school to do some research. The school, they don't even have water to drink. There's no water to drink. The place, like the grass, the roots is grown all the way to the trees. And
so it means it was like a rundown building. Like people said, dilapidated. It was not fit for human beings to live in that kind of environment. Basically, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so the approach is being the type of organization that we are, and our goal is to help. That's the end thing. Our vision, our mission is to help. And so we took it upon ourselves to start.
So yes, you're in a computer world. So what metrics do you use in terms of how do you know where to go? Do you connect with local organizations or local government to find out in this area they have 300 students and the poverty rate is this, the parents make some, do you rely on such data to know where to go?
Yeah, so we do rely on data. And like you said, being here in the United States, we need to have eyes on the ground over there. So we have directors over there back home that do some of these findings for us. So one of the metrics we use is our directors have to go to the village or the area to survey the area. So we do that. And then they have to partner with local organizations over there, churches, government employees, like the local chief and elders. So they
Okay.
have to go there and build relationships. We don't do anything without building relationship, because
Yes.
relationship matters. Because if you don't
All
have
the
that
time.
streamline of relationship to rely on, sometimes you might fail. So just for everyone to know, you need to build some type of relationship in order for
Oh
you
yeah.
to succeed. Yes, we do partner with churches, local organizations, and also with the elders and chief, because in those remote part of the village, it's not like here in America, it's everything is presidency. In Africa, you have kings and you have elders and you
Chief.
have churches and have all the local governments. But if you don't have those elders that really rule that area, you're going into a fire zone, say. And so,
Yeah.
in order for the safety of what we're doing, the safety of our directors, the safety of the children that we're trying to help, we need those type of strategic relationship in order to succeed. So those are some of the metrics we use. And then how do we measure the poverty level, the poverty rate of the area? How many kids are going to school? How is the school progressing from year to year? Last year, do they have 20 children? And this year they have 15? What's the reason? Why is that happening? So we need to find out all of those findings in order for us to venture into anything.
Okay. So you're saying that collaboration, like being able to create partnerships, is an essential part of how you operate. And without
Absolutely.
those deeply created connections, your work will not succeed pretty much. And
No,
that's
no.
just most things in life. Everything that we do, with the exception of maybe going to the store and buying something
Mm-hmm.
and just exchanging money, anything that you do that has a long-term impact, I think that has to be built on a foundation of trust and
Trust.
a foundation of understanding of mutual benefit. So I think you're
Yes.
doing a good job, and especially in the remote parts of Africa, the
Oh.
chiefs definitely hold a lot of sway. They may not be as powerful as ministers, but
In
they have a
in
lot of
their way,
influence.
they
Yes, they
do.
do.
They
Yes.
do.
So I'd like to ask you about, you are in the nonprofit humanitarian world and things change so fast.
Mm.
There are a lot of big organizations that continue to streamline and evolve their processes of how they give and where they go. It's still a small organization, but you are having a
Mhm.
massive impact in the world, right? And
Yes.
how do you make sure that you stay relevant with your work? Like you're not duplicating the work of other nonprofits. Like, how do you stay ahead of this so that you still stay, like your work has an impact that is measurable and you keep improving?
Diligence.
Okay.
One word that comes to my mind is diligence.
Okay.
There are so many nonprofit organizations, and then your vision.
Okay.
What started this project? What made me to start this project? Never
Okay.
lose focus
I
on
like that.
the beginning. Never lose focus on why you're doing what you're doing. Even if there are hundreds of people around you doing the same thing, what makes you different?
Oh,
It's your
okay.
vision.
See.
What makes, do you have the heart to continue doing what you're doing? Are you doing this for the right reason? So for me, is that continuous improvement, and always continue to improve yourself, improve what you're doing. Look at data, because I'm a data person. I'm always analyzing.
It's good.
I'm always
It's good.
analyzing. So you look at other organizations, but try to be different. Try to be different in the things that you do. Try to be different in be intentional in whatever you're doing. Be intentional in your thinking, in your strategic and logistic thinking. Be intentional in everything you do.
I'm
Don't,
hearing. Yes,
you
go
know,
ahead.
don't imitate others, but even you do it better.
Fair enough.
Do it better. Because our world, everyone is doing almost the same thing, feeding children, helping, but where are you creating that impact? Think about it. Are you going to areas that really needs it? Because if you focus on the people that really needs this help, then you're satisfied with yourself that you're doing the right thing.
And for you, this is a very personal mission. And
It's
you talked about the
personal.
vision. So this is something that you relieve every day. And a lot of
Yes.
times, the pain from our past,
Mm,
we can either harness the pain into a
Mm,
purpose, or we can let it eat us up and
mm.
cause trauma that makes us feel depressed and not move on in life. What I'm hearing here is that you continue to use that pain as a reminder of where you were, and you do not want other children to ever go through that. And no matter how hard things get, because they will sometimes, you always remember why you're doing this. And that why is always that connective tissue that holds people together during very difficult times, because everybody goes through hard times. There'll be
Oh,
times where you feel like
challenges.
you wanna quit.
Wait.
The moment you think of yourself
Yeah.
that many years ago and you visualize or you see the faces of the children that you changed, then you forget about the challenges. The mission is bigger than yourself.
Help, please.
You
It
can
is
never
bigger than
ever quit.
myself. It is bigger. And you hit the nail. It's bigger. You hit the nail on the head. It is bigger than you. Please, if you're ever wanting to go into a nonprofit, you ever want to venture into a humanitarian space, please do know that it is bigger than you. Because for me, just seeing the smile in those children's faces, that's it. That does it for
Like
me.
that. Like
Just
that.
seeing the smile, it does it for me. And there are challenges, like you said, there are so many challenges that you can face, challenges of human challenges,
Mhm.
logistic challenges, just challenges everywhere. But
Yep, that's huge.
remember the why. It's huge.
Why it's a huge motivating factor. And when the adversity hits, then and you ground yourself in that why, then I think that people around you will see how connected you are to your work. And
Mhm.
that's when people step up to
Oh,
support you,
yes.
to help you, to lend in support. Sometimes it may be financial, sometimes it may be logistical, sometimes it's just listening to you to help you fine tune your approach. When you do humanitarian work, it takes upon a lot, like it takes away a lot of your time. You
It
have a
does.
family, I'm sure.
Mhm.
How has this work impacted you personally and professionally? How has it changed the dynamics inside of your family, home? You obviously have to travel for long periods of time. How does that tell me how
Oh
that
my
has changed
God.
your life?
My life
Okay.
tremendously. So, having a nonprofit is not easy. It's
Yes.
not. It's not easy because one, especially the financial constraint, it's not easy. Two, you have children you have to take care of. You have a husband, you have to tend to his needs. It's not easy. But one thing that is constant in my life is support. The support of my husband and the support of my children. As little as they are, they learning that mommy needs to help people. So what has that done? Creating that support system. I'll tell you a little story, Alpha. I never ask people to come support me. I just keep doing what I'm doing because
Yes.
sometimes you think, oh, if I ask people, imposing something on them that they probably don't have no vision of, don't have no desire to do. So you just keep pushing. But
Yes.
when you do it the right way, believe me, God will bring people around you to support
Absolutely.
you. I call them angels. He will bring
Love
angels
it.
to support you. So
Yes.
just by doing that, I tell you, I have angels that just came and said, oh, Franka, we see what you're doing. We see what you and your husbands are doing. Can we come and support you? I want to join. I want to be part of your organization. Just like that. And just like that, I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight people that said, we want to be a committee. Let's form a committee.
It's
And
amazing.
without me asking,
Wow.
without me even going to solicit for their help, they just saw what I'm doing and buy the vision and buy the idea. And
That's textbook definition of something that is bigger than yourself.
yes.
Because if you were doing something for Franca's ego, if you were doing something just to make yourself feel good and look big and oh
Mm-mm.
she's people can read right through that. The
Absolutely.
moment they feel that you're actually creating something for the community, for children who need people, God sends those people to you. You don't even have to
Yes.
ask. And
Mm-hmm.
that again speaks to the power of the why, the vision, and the kind of world you want to create. And I agree, having a nonprofit is a lot of work. I am on the board of directors for a few nonprofits. I
Mm-hmm.
know what it takes.
Yeah.
I have a nonprofit myself. I know what it takes to run one. And to keep it afloat takes a lot of work. And it takes a special kind of person
Special,
to run a
yeah.
nonprofit because you learn a lot as you go. And
Yes.
the vision has to be compelling one where
Mm-hmm.
people gravitate towards you based on the value that you are providing to the community. And
It's a
just so people
cycle.
know, nonprofits are business as well. It is just categorized differently, but
Yeah.
everything that is an enterprise requires the flow of
Yes,
capital to
yeah.
provide services to people.
And like I said, just one impact that it created in my life is it changed my mindset.
Okay.
It changed my mindset on how I look at the world, on how I look at people, and how I look at things. It changed my mindset. And also, having a nonprofit makes you a leader.
Yes,
So it shaped you to be a leader. So
absolutely.
if you were not a leader before you start, by the time you go through this process, you become a leader. Whether
Yeah.
you want it or not, you are a leader. So it shaped me to be the type of leader that I am, to be compassionate, empathetic, and understanding. Because those are the key things to be in a leadership role. You have to be compassionate, you have to be understanding, and you have to.
Initially, I said that to start some kind of initiative like this, you have to have the willingness. Because
Yeah.
are there any misconceptions about humanitarian work
Oh,
that you had to find out and you may want to help our audience members understand that they may think of it this way, but it's not that way? Is there anything you can speak on in that regard?
yes, absolutely. I have example. Oh my God. And our community alpha,
Mhm.
their mindset about humanitarian work is different. It's different from the outer world out there. I always tell people, listen, if I need money, I go to work and make money to feed my family. I don't need humanitarian work to feed my family. That's
True.
one misconception in the African community. Is that
Okay.
everybody thinks, oh, you're into a nonprofit because you want to siphon money. No, I really want, because this is something that pains me to my core, because I'm like, you don't know the struggle, you don't know the pain, you don't know how the challenges that we face as nonprofit to even be able to feed one child, or even be able to extend our help to the areas that we're helping in our different areas, whether it's education, whether it's feeding, whether it's ending hunger, whether it's digging a well to get water into that community. You just don't know. So please, let's break that mentality that nonprofit are for business and just to make money for themselves. Not every nonprofit is that way. We're here to help. The reason we're doing this is because we have the passion and the vision to help. And so please stop looking at all nonprofit as a business that just want to sell. Stop looking at it that way. Look at nonprofits as they're doing something that the world needs. They're doing something that your neighbor needs. They're doing something that your friends need. They're doing something that your children need. Look at it that way and stop looking at it as, and let's just break that, especially in the African community. Take that
I
notion
agree.
out of your head. And I
I agree.
always tell people, look, I make, not to mention how much I make, but like we nonprofit, we're not sitting down. This is not our job.
True.
This is
That is
our
true.
passion, labor of love. It's our passion. And I'll tell you an example. We had in one of our gala, I think last year gala, were in the audience, and somebody brought up to my attention after the gala was over, an African sitting down next to a non-African audience. She sat down there and she started telling this audience, this nonprofit, all this money they're raising, they're not going to use it for what they are using it for. And that was brought to my attention. And I said, this is why we need to
Terrible.
break this notion in the African community, because you're telling these people that, and they're here to help, they're here to
Yeah.
render their help, and you're just creating a barrier and just putting a notion in their head that is not supposed to be. So please, Africans, if you're listening to me today,
Yes.
please, we are not here to make money.
Absolutely.
Alpha
Absolutely not.
and Franka and all the nonprofits out there, we're not here
Yes.
to make money. There might be a few that are outside the realm doing something like that, but please do not look at all nonprofits the same way. It's
I
because we
like that.
have the passion to do what we're doing. We work. we make money.
That's true.
I'm telling people, like, we started promoting our nonprofit with our own funds,
Oh
not with
yeah,
the funds that we're raising, even
that's how
with
it
the
always
funds that,
works.
that's how it always works. So
Yeah,
please, Africans, nonprofit is not here to make money. We're here to help.
that's
We're here to
correct.
lend a hand, service to people
Yeah,
who really needs it. Join
absolutely.
us in doing the same.
I love that. I love that call to action. And a lot of times, so not everybody can do this, that's for sure. This is not for
Yes.
everybody. Some people can help on the sidelines. They can support the cause by sharing on social media. They can donate food or, I don't know, clothing. Every little bit helps in some way, but the
Mm-hmm.
goal is not to stand in the way. At the very least,
Yes,
help.
please.
You cannot discourage other people from helping.
From helping, yeah.
Yes. So it is very important that you support because Africans are supposed to solve Africans' problems. That's the reality. If you're an
Hmm.
African, at the very least, you should be supporting somebody who is raising awareness to solve problems in your community.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Often we rely on foreign donors to help us. And guess what? We need to take that accountability. We need to step and
Take
do more for our
action.
communities. That is correct.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What advice would you give somebody? Because there will be other people starting different nonprofits doing, what would you advise them? Let's say somebody wants to start something in climate
Mm-hmm.
change, maybe to be an advocate for climate change in the local area where you come from. Like, how can you, it may be in the same area of work you're doing. What
Mm-hmm.
would you advise them to make a difference? What can you tell them if they're starting out? Or, in other words, what have you learned from your journey for years plus that you wish you knew before you started?
Yes. From where we started to where we
Hmm?
are right now, believe
Yes.
me, there are so many lessons learned. One of them is when we started doing this on our own. But one advice I would like to give anyone out there who is trying to start, if I could do it differently than when we started, was getting resources, human resources.
Okay.
Because starting it on your own, it's difficult. But if you have like-minded folks, share your
Okay.
dreams. Share your dreams with other people. You might see one or two people who has the same like-minded dreams like you do. Go into partnership with those type of people. Start strategizing, start planning. Before you start planning, think about plan A, plan B, plan C. Don't just think about A alone, but have a plan. It's what I would tell you. I didn't have a plan when I started. I just, oh, it's time to have a nonprofit because
You had a
God
passion,
has
you don't
laid
have a
it in
plan.
my heart to do it. I
You had a
just like
passion.
God has laid it in my heart, and so I'm like, it's time to start. Talked to my husband. I'm going to start this nonprofit. Are you on board? And he said yes, and that's how we just started. But if I could do it differently, I would share this dream with one, two, three, or four people, get their own feedback, get feedback from people. By doing that, you will get a lot of advices, you will get a lot of strategic, intentional
Input. Yeah.
input from people and feedback that can help you in the beginning. And just
Okay.
know you cannot do it on your own.
True.
You
And
can't.
just to reinforce what you said, I'll use two quotes here. Somebody has said, feedback is the breakfast champions. So if you keep taking the feedback in, it makes you better every day.
Every day.
So you should get more people on board so you can
Mm-hmm.
get feedback because you
Mm-hmm.
only have two eyes, one
Yes.
brain,
Yeah.
24 hours a day to sleep, and you are not a machine. If you want to go far, you go by yourself. If you want to go further, you go with a team.
Go with the
So,
team.
all right, that is very good. Sure that now that you're understanding the importance of a vision and a
Mm-hmm.
strategic plan, I'm sure you have goals 3 to 5 years out.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you have a vision that is evolving as you are learning more and you're understanding the nuances of running a nonprofit, uh, how to create strategic partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
and how to leverage them to benefit you and how to keep your chiefs happy
Mm-hmm.
somehow. So, what do you have coming up? What is it that what's exciting for you in the next 3 to 5 years? What are you doing 3 to 5 years from now? And I do
So,
know you have an event coming up on the 26th, about 26th, right?
yes, we
Maybe that
do.
is a primer for the next year, two, three. What's coming up for you?
Yeah, the most immediate thing coming up for us, and it's a yearly gala event. This is going to be our sixth annual gala event. So that's
Okay.
coming up very soon, October 26th, like you mentioned. So that's our immediate event coming up. And then through this event, we hope to be able to raise enough funds to actually finish the renovation of Ijesha High School in Ogun State, western part of Africa. So our goal is to raise enough funds to finish the renovation of that school. And that's one of our long-term goal. And then we have our short-term goal. We have a clinic I never mentioned to you. We have a
Oh,
clinic. The foundation built a clinic in a remote village. We visited that
wow.
village back in 2019 and immediately saw that there is no medical facility at all in that
Wow.
village. How do they survive? So now we have a medical clinic that we built. They use it for giving birth. It's used for mothers and folks who are sick. Go there now to that clinic. So our goal is to expand and build more rooms in that clinic and get more healthcare needs into that community. So we're doing one goal at a time. Another goal that we have, like I said, if you have a dream, believe me, it just expands.
It takes
It
off. Yeah.
expands. You start with one, and before you know it, you have one coming in, and this coming in, and that coming in. So we also have widows that we take care of every month in Africa. And these widows are like 80 years old, 75. So we cater for widows who don't have a means. They're not strong enough to go to work. They're not
Mm.
strong enough to go fend for themselves. So the foundation also venture in that we feed widows every month. So this is our long time goal because it's a continuous goal.
Wait a
So
minute.
we
So you are literally breathing life into these communities that you support. So
yes.
you are helping widows who are 70 and up. They may have come from very impoverished backgrounds with no formal education. There is
Mm-mm.
no social security structure in Africa that takes care of people who can help themselves,
No,
unlike
they
here where they'll
can't.
get checks from the
The check,
government.
yeah.
So you're helping those every
Mm-hmm.
month. Your initial goal was to
Feed
eradicate,
children, eradicate hunger.
child hunger.
Mm-hmm.
You have evolved into building schools because you realized that feeding the children wasn't good enough.
Education.
You went into a clinic because you were actually going through the whole gamut of a healthy human being, from nutrition,
Education,
healthcare.
healthcare.
Oh, my goodness. So let's remind our viewers again that the Excellence and Impact Foundation, we focus on 4 areas: healthcare, education, entrepreneurship, and leadership. So you are a quadrifecta. So you basically touch on all those areas because you are doing what those children in
Yes.
those communities need to thrive,
Needs.
and you didn't have all of those things growing up.
Mm-mm.
So this is an example of somebody paying it forward, because a lot of times we forget where we come from. A lot of us are guilty of that. We are so comfortable here and we
Mm-hmm.
don't really much back there. And
Yeah.
I am using you today to challenge our audience. If you think you're doing enough, you can do a little bit more,
A
just a little
little
bit
bit
more.
more.
Because if
Yes.
this lady here could be touching this amount of lives, feeding widows, building schools, clinics, feeding children, I tried to
Yeah.
help a little bit, but I think I needed this today to know that we can always do more.
Yeah, but if
Yes,
I just remember, it's just in just our own
we can
little
always do
way.
more.
I always
Absolutely.
say in your little way, don't wait for the big things. Don't wait until you are a
Because it's never gonna come.
millionaire. Don't
Yeah,
wait till that time. In just your own little way, please
I
touch
like
your
it.
life.
I
Put a
like it.
smile. Like our slogan is put a smile in a child's face because our goal is to help children, right?
Because
You
they're the
know,
future.
yes, they are the future.
One of your songs on your marketing materials is Heal the World. Is that what it is?
Yes, that is our
That's a very
heal
good
the
one.
world, one child at a time. So I just believe in the little things. I've never
Yeah.
believed in the big. I've never believed like, oh, yes, when I grow up and I'm a millionaire, then yes, Franka, do a nonprofit. No, I believe
Start what
start
you have.
little.
Yeah.
Always start little. The Bill Gates of today did not start when they were
True. I like that.
started little.
Yeah. That little.
That
Yeah.
little.
And so the small things make the big things, right? Everything starts with a
Absolutely.
very small building block.
And believe me, you will be blessed, especially
True.
if you have God on your side. Because and one thing I want to tell your audience, please do not forget, whatever God you serve, don't forget God.
Oh, I like that. I'm
Yes.
sure for those of us
So
who haven't gone to
yes,
church yet,
whatever,
Pastor
like
Franka is talking.
I am a church girl, and I'm not ashamed to tell you I'm a church girl, and I love my God. So
Love it.
whatever God, we're talking to a broader audience. Not everybody has their own different God that they serve, or their own different higher power that they rely on. Whatever higher power you rely on, please do not forget to always keep that in mind. Your God is the ultimate. He's the
Wow.
one that can back you up. Listen, men are going to fail you.
True. We're human beings.
Situations will fail you.
True.
Challenges will fail you. People will fail you. But there is one person I know that will never fail you. It's God. So
Oh,
in everything you do, put your trust in Him. Put your trust in Him, because He's the only one that will never fail you.
well,
So if your foundation is not built in that trust in God, you're also bound to face some challenges in some areas. But put your trust in Him. He will
wow.
never leave you alone.
Wow. I can
Faith
tell.
is ultimate.
Okay. I didn't know we
Ultimate.
had planned to have a little church service this morning, so that's good.
Hallelujah. Sorry, people.
Oh no, you should not be. You should never be sorry about your faith ever. It's part of who you are. So please own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, own it and take it. Okay. So do you want to speak more about your gala coming up on October 26th? What should we look out for? And ladies and gentlemen, in case you're listening, the Earn and African Children Hunger Foundation has
Foundation.
their annual gala on October
Yeah.
26th here in Arizona.
Yes, it's in Avondale. And I'm
Okay.
excited to tell you guys about it. So we're having our gala event. We're inviting everyone. Everyone is invited. Please, you are invited to attend our gala event. It's a way to raise funds to do what we're doing. As you can see,
Okay.
we have a lot of projects. So the gala help us to raise funds to be able to meet our needs and meet the needs of all the projects that we have on. So please come. There's going to be entertainment. There's going to be food. There's going to be drinks. I know there's going to be different activities on that day. So please come and join us in ending hunger, and join us in helping feed widows and also take care of our health.
Oh, that's amazing. Please go to her website
It's
and donate.
eachf.org.
So
And
if
then
you're
you,
unable to make it,
yes,
we appreciate anything because as nonprofits, the lifeline of the operational side of it is the donations that people get to help
yes.
keep this important work going.
EAC,
AHF,
no, EACHF. So it's the abbreviation of End African Children Hunger Foundation. EACHF.org.
EAC,
Dot
EACHF.org.
org.
Please
No,
go on
yes,
there
.org.
and support with whatever little you have. It will be well appreciated.
Yep.
Okay.
And yes. And if you want to know the address of the gala, you can find it also on the website. It's going to be held in Avondale, Arizona, 733 North 114 Avenue, Avondale, Arizona, 85323. So please go on the website, get your ticket, and please attend the gala event. And let's join hands and end children hunger.
Let me ask you, so obviously you are doing what you love to do. I can tell, I can feel the passion. You love it. This is what you do. You think about it, you sleep it, you dream it.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
does it get stressful at times and you think of maybe I should stop doing this? Do you get there sometimes? How do you get yourself out of that kind of a dark place?
Oh, of course, you get into the zone where you feel like, man, can I keep going? Can we keep pushing it? Because sometimes the people around you try to make you feel down. How do you get
True.
yourself through it? You just tell yourself exactly the why. I always go back to my why am I doing this? And my faith. My why and my faith pulls me through.
That's a very powerful one-two punch combination. The why and the faith. All right? Why
Yeah.
and faith. That's a good
Faith.
place to go. So for those of you
Yes.
out there who are struggling, whatever you're working on, whatever project, you're going to school, you have a job, you are trying to start something, you should always go back to the why. The why is the glue that will keep the foundation strong when the winds are so strong. The community around you is extremely important. So you want to surround yourself with, and I heard you earlier use the word or the phrase people.
Like-minded people.
So
Yes.
it's very important to surround yourself with like-minded people who are about dreaming big, not limiting themselves, because a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
we have limiting beliefs. We
Mm-hmm.
think small.
Yeah.
So surrounding yourself with like-minded people is very important. And I cannot overemphasize the
Yes.
importance of that. So
Yep.
get into a community of people who think big, who are supportive, who are
Mm-hmm.
positive, and who are forward-thinking people. That's very good.
Yeah. Get
So
visionaries around you.
that is correct. I like that. That's $1 million word, visionaries. And that's exactly what you are. You had this vision and you went out there and you are doing really good work. So
Thank
other
you.
than coming to the gala on the 26th, how can people support your work? Getting involved? Are you looking for people to join? Do you have a board of directors or
Oh,
do you need volunteers? Like how else could
yes.
broader public support the work that you do?
We're always out there looking for volunteers, looking for partners. You never stop. There is not
Yeah,
enough partners. There is not enough sponsors. So we're out there still looking for sponsors, still looking for volunteers because we want to do more
that's
if we
correct.
have the means to do that. So partnership, sponsorship. So if you have the same vision and you're like-minded like we are, please give us a call. We're happy to work with you. I'm always there trying to see what other organizations are doing and how can also we be a part of it. Don't ever hesitate if you're an organization out there that is struggling. Don't ever hesitate to ask another organization for help. This is why we are a team. This is why we are in the same organization. So don't ever hesitate. Don't ever stop looking. Like for N African Children Hunger Foundation, we don't stop looking for partners. It's on our website there. Partnership is welcome. Sponsorship is welcome. Volunteers are welcome. So please reach out to us if you're one of those like-minded people like we are and reach out and we'll be so happy to embrace you and work with you. If you have a vision you want to accomplish, we will be there to assist. We will be there to be a partner and help achieve your vision. So please.
I love that. So expanding your dream. So the more you put it out there, the more you get people to buy on
That is the
and
key.
help
Yes.
you. Like we said earlier, you want to go further, you can't go by yourself.
Nope.
So our minds are also full of expression and expansion. So I like that. Let me just tell our audience that on our launching that's coming up on October 4th, Miss Franka is getting an award for the amazing communities work that she's putting together. I'm letting the cat out of the bag here. We love to
Thank you,
support people
Alpha.
like her who are visionaries, who are looking for ways to create an impact. Again, this is the Excellence and Impact Foundation, and we highlight and honor people like her in our community who are looking far and far beyond themselves, who are
Yeah.
sacrificing every day to create an impact. So we encourage you to join us, and there will be a live stream of our event for those who can't make it. So we
Yeah.
can't wait to have her on October 4th. And ladies
Thank
and
you,
gentlemen,
thank you, thank you,
yes,
thank you, thank you, Alpha.
absolutely.
This has been such. I mean, your audience doesn't know this is my first podcast. Let me tell them, and
Okay.
I think I did good. Not,
Yes, you did great.
but
And this is the
I
first
just
of many.
Hey,
Yep,
yes,
this is the
yes,
first of
yes.
many.
And oh my God, I want to thank you, Alpha. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this opportunity. I cannot express how thankful I am, but I'm
Likewise.
so grateful to have met you. Believe me, the day we met, it was meant to be.
I
I
agree.
just knew it was meant to be the day we met. For God allowing me to meet you, first of all, and I'm
Yeah.
thankful for this partnership and in relationship that we're building because I know it's gonna go far. You know,
I believe that
by
as
the
well.
special grace of God, it's gonna go far. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Alpha. You're such a beautiful soul, and I just hope that you keep going through and exceeding one horizon to the other. And the sky is the limit for you. It's so wonderful to meet a beautiful soul like you, and I cannot express my gratefulness and thankfulness. So thank you so very much.
All right. So with that, our audience around the world, we will wrap up this edition of the Excellence and Impact Foundation podcast. And again, I want to thank the charismatic Miss Franka Adetunji for the work she's doing. And wow, what a leader she is. What a trifecta. She is into everything. She is a leader. She is into educating young people. She's providing life, like literally, she's breathing air into the lives of young people. So she's in healthcare, education, she's an entrepreneur. And just so you know, entrepreneurship doesn't have to be about making money. No, it just means you are taking a risk to solve
To
problems in the
solve.
society. So you are a
Yes.
problem solver. So you are a social
Yes.
entrepreneur.
Yes.
That's what they call
Yes.
you, social
That's it.
entrepreneur. So we're very
Thank
happy
you,
for
Alpha.
where you're going, and we'll continue to
Thank
support
you.
you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we shall see you for our next podcast, which is coming up on Wednesday of next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.